So, welcome to the next in the Angelos series. This time we are doing Yesami, and I'll be doing it the same, obviously you can see from the intro, with the wonderful Scott and the brilliant Lizzie, and we'll all be having our different kind of takes on it, starting with me this time. Lucky you guys. Okay, so let's get in. So yeah, what's it like? Well, for me, it opens with this kind of gorgeous sweet fizz. It's like blackcurrant and orange to me, and it's actually quite divine. It actually makes me think of like a Bucks Fizz, which has a different name in America that I can't think of right now. But it's champagne with orange juice, fruit juice. Also get like this pink pepper. I think that's what's giving it a bit of the fizz coming through, as well as the ylang ylang with actually quite a spicy brightness. It is aldehydic to me. I don't know if there are aldehydes, and it's not bitter, it's just this little bit of a orange fizz that comes through. The fizziness does eventually move back, and I get kind of the jasmine coming through, and it's there's like a nice tingly dose of beautiful musks in this one as well. So it's possible it's ambrette, or it might just be like a lovely musk. After about 20 minutes it does start to become very smooth and musky and sweet with the woods, kind of saying there's probably sandalwood in it, and it becomes almost edible to me. Yeah, like I was saying before the rain rudely interrupted me, it becomes almost kind of edible, and it's quite difficult to pick out individual notes, I think. And I'm sure I get in there like a bit of incense and patchouli, but it's like it's again like this kind of fresh incense that comes through it, I think. Yeah, like if you ever smell Encens Suave, it has this kind of beautiful kind of airy incense, and that's what I kind of get with this one. And the patchouli is a little bit, just a little bit earthy but sweet maybe, but it's all about the florals and the fruit, that kind of oranginess. Yeah, it is very orangey actually, so that's what I kind of get from it. So in conclusion, I really like this one. Does it compare to Grass d'Orient? They're very different, but I think I like it just as much as that one actually. I think it's a very beautiful fragrance, very enjoyable, and it's actually, to me, quite unique. And that oranginess, I'm not normally a big fan of orange. There has to be orange in. Now, bearing in mind I've smelt this pretty much blind because I lost the notes, didn't I? But obviously the other guys will kind of go more into depth about the actual listed notes and specifics like that. And of course me and Lizzie bet have a thing where we pretty much can't agree on oranges and lemons, even though they smell very different. So it'll be interesting to see what Lizzie says especially. And Scott can be quite sensitive to other nuances. Anyway, I'm waffling. Over to you two guys. I think it's Scott next, so take the floor, Scott.
So thank you, John. I guess now it's my turn. Right, the fragrance Yesami by Angelos Creations Olfactives. I will give you a quick rundown of the notes. There are loads, so bear with me. In the top we have rum, galbanum, blackcurrant, blood orange, sweet orange and aldehydes. In the heart we have jasmine absolute from Egypt, ylang ylang complete. Then we have geranium heliotrope, megui, I never get that right, mango leaf absolute, pink pepper CO2, angelica root, blue chamomile and rosewood. And then in the base we have sandalwood, gurgeon balsam, patchouli from Indonesia, cashmeran, musks, ambergris, labdanum and ambrette seed. Right, now we've got that out of the way. Right, so Yesami. First off, I've already sprayed some, and when you spray it you get a huge hit of patchouli. It's a really nice rooty, dark type of patchouli, dry, not chocolatey in any way, not at first anyway. And there's the bitterness of the orange. Now I get an earthiness coming through, which I believe could be coming from the Angelica root. And there's also a greenness, a woody greenness, which I think is the galbanum. What I also get, which is weird, is like a bitter, like a charred sugar, burnt sugared smell. Now there is rum in this, so whether it's down to that or not, I don't know. But the earthiness seems to die down after about an hour or so, and it starts to smooth out, and then you get your jasmine coming through, and the other florals, and that seems to mellow right out and becomes much more of a sweeter fragrance. It's bitter to start off with, and then it's sweeter. But I really like this one. I wouldn't say it's my favourite out of the 3 that I've tried so far, but it's a very, very good scent. So yeah, that's what I get out of it. It's just a huge patchouli here at the beginning, and then the jasmine at the end of like the main players for me, and the galbanum, which, you know, the greenness. But yeah, that is Angelos Creations Olfactives Yesemi. So all it leaves now is to hand you over to the wonderful Lizzie.
I'm sitting here with Natasha Bedingfield's song Unwritten going round and round in my head. It's been stuck there for days. There at the blank page before you, open up the dirty window, come and get some inspiration. You're gonna have to ignore me. I haven't filmed for so long that I think I've forgotten how to do it. Let's just crack straight into it, because if I overthink everything, then I'll never get anywhere. So welcome to episode 3 of our little collaboration. Myself, Scott and John, of course, are collaborating on the Angelos Creations Olfactive Fragrance House. And today we are obviously reviewing Yasemi. So thanks, John, for taking us on your little nature ramble. And obviously thank you very much, Scott. Thanks for bringing us all those notes as well, which I was going to go through. I was going to go through all the notes individually, but I'm wondering on this one particularly if it's going to be of any use in this review for me. This is such a complex one. This has got so many notes, as you've seen from Scott, that it's incredibly complex. Yasemi, I think, is kind of like a big, full-bodied, complex scent, and our skin is probably going to push out different notes more than others. Out of the 3 of us, I think I'm the only one to pick up on how incredibly explosive this is in the opening. It really is so strong. I've worn this on 2 occasions now, and today I've resprayed it just to obviously get that opening again. And it's very overwhelming. It's just this bomb of incense. I think I'm getting the galbanum, that very green. Oh, I've just noticed a little bug on my lilac. There's a little, look at him. There we are, it's 2 of them. Oh, I probably disturbed their little mating ritual. I just cut these from my garden. Sorry. Yeah, quite a soapy greenness. There is definitely a lot of strong peppery incense. And I do pick up on an orangey hue. That hint of an orange hue, which is giving it a little bit of sweetness as well. But it's also, Scott mentioned about the bitterness of the orange, and I get that. The orange is bitter and sweet. I don't know. Obviously, like I say, it's a very complex thing. So I'm getting bitterness and sweetness from other things, possibly. He mentioned a fizz. He was quite focused on the fizz. And I do understand there's a fizz going on in here. It's between the cracks for me. And I guess that might be those aldehydes. But they're not overwhelming. There's just a hint of something fizzy, but it's really pushed in between this very strong incense galbanum, and it is quite rummy. There is rum in the beginning, but if you can imagine just sticking your tongue straight into neat rum and how strong that is on your tongue, that's how I feel about this in the opening. And I've got to be honest, I'm not a fan of the opening. It was just a little bit too much for me, and there's nothing sweet or pretty about the opening, which it doesn't have to be. And I've got other fragrances where I have a very strong leathery opening, and I quite like that. But for some reason, this one, it just doesn't quite work for me. So as it dries down, there is a lot more smoothness. There's a lot of the sharp, real nose tingly explosion does pass, and you get much smoother a white floral aspect to it. So you've got that jasmine absolute. I'll tell you what it reminds me of actually in the middle, or even more in the dry down. The last fragrance we spoke about, the Eau De Virtue, definitely a core of Eau De Virtue in here. So when I spoke about Eau De Virtue, I thought of it being more of a very soapy jasmine. There is actually Lily of the Valley in this, and jasmine, the same as Eau De Virtue, and they are very soapy. And that is definitely in the mid of this. So if you had that Eau De Virtue, which is that soapy jasmine, soapy Lily of the Valley, but you've thrown some rum over it and a bit of fizz and a lot of incense, a lot of peppery incense. And as it dries down further, a lot more of that patchouli comes through. I'm not a fan of patchouli, I've said this many times, but this isn't quite so bad. It's not a headachy, sharp type of patchouli. This is much more smooth, woodsy. It's very dry. It is very, very dry, but it's not unpleasant. It gives it a nice base, along with those musks and the smooth sandalwood. So to summarise, you've got a soapy green white floral heart, but it's surrounded by a very dry, peppery incense woods. Definitely I'd call a dry scent, with a bit of sweet hue from orange. Not too much orange, it's just a little bit of, like a bit of colour, brings a little bit of colour into it. And the problem with reviewing a fragrance intensely like this is that you're sniffing your wrist all the time, when really the fragrance is in the sillage, it's in that trail behind you. And I think I get more orange when I stop sticking my nose so far into my wrist and just allow it to billow around me. I get more of that orange. So I think the trail, the sillage is more pleasant than me sniffing it straight from the skin. But I think overall, I will say this is my least favourite so far. This is not something I personally would wear. I don't vibe with it. I find it a little bit too overpowering in certain notes. But I do appreciate the artisan quality in this. There's no question that these are beautiful fragrances, good quality materials, and a lot of character. So that is my impression of Yazimi. I need to pick the next one, don't I, guys? So I've removed the 3 we've already reviewed there. So Grace Dior, Eau De Virtue and Yazimi. And here we have the remaining 6. How am I going to do it? I'm going to drop a little flower in the tin, wherever it lands. That's who we're going to have next. We'll just let nature decide. Right, here we go. This is really going to be quite lame, isn't it? Hang on. Who is that? This one. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Next fragrance will be Tabac Libre. There we have it. So I hope you'll join us again for episode 4, where we're going to discuss Tabac Libre. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thanks again to my dear friends John and Scott, and we will see you all on the next one. Take care. Over and out.